Fox News Alert, and our top story here that we've been following for 3 weeks now. The reward for information on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has doubled. An anonymous donor matching the FBI's reward of $100,000, bringing the total to $202,500.
Meantime, the genetic expert who helped crack the Bryan Kohberger case says there is still hope of building a DNA profile on the glove found near Nancy Guthrie's home.
The CODIS system will catalog 20 markers from people, and generally the people in that database have been convicted of a crime. The kind of testing that we do at Othram looks at the entire DNA. There's probably at least 500,000 markers that we're looking at instead of 20 markers.
Joining us now is a forensic expert who helped establish the national training guidelines for medical legal death investigators, Joseph Scott Morgan. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see you again. And it's very interesting what this genetic expert is saying, which sounds like even though the DNA found on the glove doesn't match the FBI database, that doesn't mean that we still can't learn a whole lot about this person who wore the glove if they left behind any DNA, which they did, to either rule the person who wore it either in or out. So tell us more about the next steps in genetic testing likely being done right now.
Yeah, far from a hopeless situation. As a matter of fact, I'm hopeful today. It springs eternal in this particular case. Great to hear from David Middleman, because he is at the top of the game when it comes to investigative genealogy. So the deposition of DNA that they're talking about, not just with the gloves, but I'm still interested in the profiles that are contained within that home that they've talked about as well. This is a DNA-rich environment. And if folks at home will just think about, have you ever worn a pair of latex gloves? Okay. Well, if you have, guess what you do most of the time? You might not be completely aware of it, just sweat in those gloves. And sweat is a fantastic carrier of our DNA, just like blood, saliva, semen, these sorts of things. It's a DNA-rich environment. So when these gloves are cast off, that means that they can be collected if they're treated appropriately and managed well through the chain of evidence, and those samples can in fact be extricated from there, and it can go to a place like Othram in the Woodlands, just north of Houston, and they can begin to run this. I got to tell you guys, I'm just a little bit heartsick over the fact that they haven't done this sooner. I think that many of us wish that they had at this point.
And I think a number of us who aren't in your field had the same feeling, but it's validating to hear that come from you, somebody who's an expert who's saying, look, this thing's been going on for almost 3 weeks. It should have been done sooner.
Yep.
With regard to, though, the number of DNA samples, are you concerned that they could soon run out of DNA samples because they are doing a lot of testing on the samples they have thus far?
Yeah, the one, Todd, I got to tell you, one of the concerning things is that what you don't want to do is burn through your samples. And this is fragile stuff. It all depends on how well it's been preserved. You know, let's think just for a second, and I'm just talking about the gloves here, okay? If they were left by the side of the road, for instance, already, they're in kind of a compromised environment. It's not protected. It's not like it's in the house, okay? So we don't really know what kind of what the environmental effects may have been on the samples that were contained therein. And you have to be very judicious, you know, as you're using the samples. Now, look, there have been major breakthroughs relative to very tiny bits of DNA over the years, particularly as the ability to amplify this takes place moving forward with people like David Middleman, and their ability to source this. They can go into all kinds of, they can take degraded sample from bone, which they do that a lot, trying to get the unidentified in America identified. So I just hope that they've taken care. I think one of my big concerns is, you know, these gloves were first, okay, or these samples were first sent to Florida, then they had to make it up to the FBI, and now they're with Othram. So I'm hoping all goes well. I have as much hope right now as I've had through this whole process, and hopefully we're going to get great news very, very shortly.
Yeah, and hope is all we can have at this point. One final question to you. When it comes to what they're trying to accomplish with the DNA samples that they do have, when it came to the Bryan Kohberger case, I remember they used the genealogy element of it to find a family member, and then it traced it back to Kohberger. Is that what they are doing right now with this, or are they trying to create a profile like the person's height, weight, skin color, sex?
Yeah, excellent question. Okay, so this is they also used it in the Corey Richins case too, if you guys remember that. David was part of that case as well. So yeah, there's two sides of the house at Othram. You have the lab side, which is going to build out the profile, and then when you hit those markers on there, do you know these guys actually have an entire team of genealogists in-house as well? So after they create the biological profile, they will take that over and begin to do a comparison against known genealogical samples from people that have deposited their DNA into open source. Okay, we're not talking about people like 23andMe and these other organizations that are kind of a closed loop. We're talking about there's like 3 major databases that are open. So when people have done the buccal mucosal swab, send it in, gee whiz, let's find out who my ancestors are. That's what they're looking at right now. And they're going to build out this family tree. It's actually fascinating to see them do this. And who knows, they might find this perpetrator based on a 6th, 7th, 8th cousin, and then bring it back into tight focus from that point.
That's unbelievable if that does come to pass. And we also do have to hope that the DNA that they have is that of the kidnapper, because that's still an unknown at this point.
Yeah, and we also have to hope that the ransom increase is kind of coming close to that magic number to get family and friends to finally say, hey, we're going to let people know what we know to turn this guy in.
Somebody knows something. You're right, Todd.
Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Likewise, sir.
Joseph, yes, you too.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.